Hey, my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA, an Orlando, Orange County-based Social Security disability law firm. Let's go ahead and begin. What is this? I think it's 9. Question 9 of the 20 most asked questions that the Social Security Administration receives. Is there a waiting period for Social Security disability benefits? All right, first and foremost, that's a really open question. It could apply to anything. The way they answer it is specifically for SSDI, but I'm going to do a much broader annotation of what that question actually means. Is there a waiting period for Social Security disability benefits? In the first sense, yes. It takes a long time for most people to get their disability benefits. It could take 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. It could take 15 years if you have to go all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States and deal with all that fun. Okay? With that said, once you reach federal district court, you can go ahead and refile at the initial level. And what happens usually at that point is somebody will be found disabled, and then their old claim will continue forward for those old back pay benefits that came before you refiled. Okay? Cool. Next thing. When it comes to SSDI, yes, there is a 5-month waiting period. And then basically you don't get paid for the month in which you're found disabled. So what we're talking about here is really a 6-month kind of waiting period. But at the end of the day, what you need to know is this. For SSDI, the first 5 months of back pay, they don't count because there's that waiting period there. And the month you're found disabled. For SSI, the first month and the last month. The first month that you apply, the last month that you're found disabled. Why? Because SSI claims, the protective filing date always equals, unless you also have a Title II SSDI claim, but if it's solely a Title 16 SSI claim, the alleged onset date must always equal the protective filing date. The protective filing date is when you file. The alleged onset date is when you're claiming that you were severely disabled. You can't claim 20 years back. You can only claim on the day in which you became severely disabled. Okay? Or sorry, on the day in which you filed. That's when you can claim for SSI benefits, yada, yada, yada. However, for Title II SSDI benefits, you can claim farther back in time because there's this thing called retroactive benefits. All right? So that's how that works. Remember, SSI, back pay, forward pay, you can only claim from the moment you file. SSDI, retroactive benefits, you file, back pay, forward pay. You can claim farther back in time. All right, cool. We did a little summary there. Is there a waiting period for Social Security disability benefits? Yes. Let me summarize. Like 6 to 8 months. This is if you're not represented. If you're not represented, it takes longer. If you're represented, it takes a lot less time, unless you're represented by one of those TV attorneys, and it takes a lot of time usually because, the longer you have to wait, the more that type of attorney gets paid. Go with the local attorney when you hire a disability attorney. You should know this by now. If you don't know this, watch my other videos. All right. Yes, if you're not represented, think about 6 to 8 months for initial filing, 6 to 8 months for reconsideration. Think about 18 to 24 months waiting for an administrative law judge. These are all stacked on top of each other. 12 to 15 months for an appeals counsel, maybe less. If you don't have, a claim there, then it'll take way less. It'll take 3 to 6 months because it'll just shoot back into denial. We're not going to review it. And then district court, circuit court, Supreme Court. I mean, that's all over the place. That's when the parties can get everything together, when the judge has scheduled a hearing time to put things together. What happens with those is, in the very beginning stages, there will be, a brief put together by both sides. The Social Security Administration on behalf of the commissioner. Because remember, we're not in like little SSA land anymore. We're out of that docket system and into big federal court land. So at that point, and it's all appellate at that point for this particular system, at that point, the Social Security Commissioner's team will put together a brief in combination with your attorney. Oh yeah, and at that point you have to have an attorney. I mean, unless you're going to try and wing. And actually, I think, I'm not sure what the rules are as to whether or not you can wing it and try and go into it, but attorneys have to be certified to even appear in one of those courts. Like Middle District of Florida, I'm certified, which makes me a federal and a state attorney. Most, attorneys don't have that, so, which isn't a bad thing. It's just another certification on top of a zillion certifications that which you could get, all right. So, is there a waiting period for Social Security disability benefits? Yes. However, there are ways you can speed it up, and every single one of my claimants fills out what's called a critical claim expedited brief. What that is we go through every type of expediting process and see which one might potentially fit for them. The grand majority of those come through what's called the I-2-1-40 subsection A 1 through 6. That's the grouping of statutes that applies to expediting the grand majority of them. Okay, so we've covered those details. And of course, if you're a wounded warrior, you get a compassion allowance listing, or you were injured in, well, I mean, that's the same as that, or you have a VPAT, a 100, which is a VA thing, 100% disability, or, you're homeless and can't get food or water or shelter, or yada, 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 or you're suicidal or homicide. Yes, all of those things will speed up your claim. Okay? If you're represented, think about, it'll be about 2 to 4 months, initial filing, 2 to 4 months reconsideration, probably around 12 to 15 months, maybe a little bit less, for an administrative law judge hearing. And then, of course, over here, you get to appeals counsel. It all depends on what arguments you're making and how long it's going to take them to kind of figure things out and decide things on their end. And then after that, of course, you go to district court, circuit court, Supreme Court of the United States. Remember, that's the Supreme Court of the people you see on TV. Like you see them giving an interview and they're like, oh, wow, they're really smart. They're really amazing. Wow, they're really nice, too. And then you hear them in court and you're thinking, wow, they're really smart and really mean. And that's because, it's their job to beat up arguments. And the argument provider is the attorney. So it's their job, ergo, the extension of that, to beat up the attorney. And the attorney should be able to defend themselves. So, yay. All right? That's the answer to that question. All right, my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA, an Orlando, Orange County-based Social Security disability law firm. If you want the most up-to-date information, you have a unique question for your unique claim, you want a free consultation or a customized video for some topic that you like, give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'll help you out. All right, we'll go from there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.